What's up? What's up? It's your girl Lena Anel, aka It's Only One Lena Lay, and this is another fresh episode of the BBW podcast. Thank you so much for listening to what little old me has to say. You are appreciated in a very special way. If you haven't already, make sure you're hitting like, subscribe, share, and follow so you know when we're dropping our freshest episodes. If you have not stopped and looked in the mirror today to tell yourself that you are fucking gorgeous, you are fucking gorgeous. You are amazing. You are loved. You are all of the above. Make sure you're hitting your affirmations daily, ladies. I am amazing. I am peace. I am everything. I am abundant. Make sure you're doing those. On today's episode, we are going to have Brooke from Fully Spun. We will be talking about our businesses, how we run them, our experience in entrepreneurship, the ups, the downs, the ebbs, the flows, all of that. So without further ado, grab your notepad, your favorite drink, and have a listen. And here we go. What's up? What's up? It's your girl, Lena Hanel, and this is another hot episode of the BBW podcast. Today, I have with me Brooke. She does Fully Spun, so she does tying of the yarn. I'll let her fully talk about what she does. And I have Monique's Resin Designs, where I make safety keychains. I do resin art. I also make juices. There's all kinds of things on my website and on my Instagram, which are tagged in all of the social medias that we currently have. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and drop her social media so you guys know where to contact her at. Go ahead.
Hi, I am Brooke. I am the owner and dyer behind Fully Spun. You can find me on Twitter as Brooke Knits, and then you can find me on TikTok and Instagram as I am Fully Spun.
Okay. So, ladies, we are going to be talking today about entrepreneurship and what it is, dealing with the life transitions, working with yourself and having a business for yourself, pushing through, accepting of self, where you are currently in your business platform. Are you able to be where you want to be, where you're just completely and solely working for yourself, or are you still reliant on outside resources until you're able to get to a point where you are fully reliant on self? I mean, Brooke, how do you feel about that?
One thing that has been sticking with me as I am in this phase of my entrepreneurship journey is that I don't think people really often share about the reality of it. Especially as business owners who are creating a product ourselves, we are in a part of the market that's not tech, that's not, STEM. And so being artists as well, there's a lot of people coming in without capital, or without a lot of capital, or other ways of gaining capital. Doing entrepreneurship that way is a huge challenge.
Yeah, I can definitely agree. Not having access to the funds that you would actually need to, like for me right now, it's paying for childcare. Like I'm fully running my business and my kids are here in the background. That doesn't mean that business stops. It's like we were saying, life circumstances. You have no control over those circumstances, but you have control over what you're doing and how you progress. It just makes it more complicated when, like you said, there's a lack of resources, a lack of financial backing, a lack of investors, or there isn't anybody that actually has faith in what you're doing to be able to say, you know what, my business is fully supporting me, my family, I'm able to pay my bills and so on and so forth. So it's a very, I think like you were saying, like, I don't want to necessarily saying entrepreneurship is lonely, but it can be. It can be very lonely because very few people have the mindset of entrepreneurship where, they're like, okay, well, it means I got to separate from everybody and everything to be able to elevate by myself, to elevate my business, because it takes a lot of man hours to produce just one thing, So it's like, if we're only producing one thing and it's taking all these man hours, how could I possibly work for somebody else and not work for myself, So that, I think that's the reason why it would end up being lonely. How do you think about that?
I definitely think that it can be very lonely, and I don't think that being in it, I've realized that. But I just turned 30 last week, and
happy birthday.
Thank you. I moved back home about about a month ago, a little over a month ago. And for the last 10 years, I've been in completely different states. So a lot of the, oh, hey, I'm going to see so-and-so this weekend, and I'm seeing her a lot. And so it is interesting to realize how much I have sacrificed because I'm working all the time that I didn't even realize I was missing in a way. And it's just like, wow, it's kind of crazy to think about how much I've missed. And that's notwithstanding the pandemic, which sort of forcibly kept people isolated as well. But I definitely, I was reading some entrepreneurship advice, and one of the pieces of advice was sort of intentionally taking a full day off every week and making space for yourself. And that's definitely something that I wish I had done more intentionally throughout these years as an entrepreneur. So my business will be 6 years old in September. So I've been doing this for 6 years. Up until January of this year, I was full-time self-employed for 2 years. But otherwise, I've always done it alongside a full-time job.
Yeah.
And so it's been, I've definitely fallen into the trap of, I gotta work, I have free time, I gotta work, as opposed to remembering to take good care of myself. And I definitely wish that is something I had realized sooner, but I'm glad that I have that information now and can make better choices, and I'm working on taking much better care of myself.
Yeah, and I can definitely agree with you because I have been very intentional with my self-care. It's just like I knew that we were going to be talking on this episode today. And so I intentionally took 2 days up until today to prepare myself, energetically wise, just so I could be in the mindset, have the creative mind open. That is probably like the number one thing that I personally as well would tell someone is that be intentional about your self-care when you're an entrepreneur, because it is hard. It is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. So it's like you want to remember to remain humble and take those few moments for yourself and be real with yourself. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not there yet, but I have made great strides in where I'm attempting to get. Like, I could take my Twitter analytics, for example. I didn't even know that hundreds of thousands of people are actually seeing my tweets. They're just not following me.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's like, yeah, like my analytics are through the roof. And it's like, oh, okay. So it's like you're saying, like the constant, and it's just because I've just been so active. We're constantly working on building my digital image because, like you said, during the pandemic, everybody went towards recording and digital content and all of that. And the market became so dense and saturated. And so it's like I have been working on trying to stand out. And so now I'm probably, let's see, I want to say my son is 7. So I want to say I've been doing this now for 4 years, about 4.5 years. I've been working for myself. And I've just been adding different skills to my entrepreneurial arsenal, the skills that I've gained from working different jobs. And that's the one thing, too, that I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs, they worked the jobs and nobody wanted to work. They were willing to learn things and go through situations in order to gain the skills they needed to be an entrepreneur. So it's like you want to give credit to those types of situations. I think everything prepares you to work for self, if that makes sense.
Do you have an example of something that you think has really prepared you for your entrepreneurship journey?
It's a good question. As I look back at it, honestly, I would think that, I know for a fact, as a matter of fact, I would think that it's when I was taking myself through school and running my business simultaneously and trying to balance a household. At that point, I realized that not necessarily I could do it all, but I could do it all. I knew that that was the skill that I learned of balancing, being able to handle multiple acts. The thing about the multitasking, it's not doing all of the tasks at the same time. It's about dedicating time to the individual task throughout the day, so you are able to multitask. So 4 hours for this. Okay, well, I've already spent 4 hours on this, so I'm going to close this up and dedicate my time to something else now. 4 hours on this. Okay, well, I've done that. And I can break it up throughout the day in like 30 minutes here, an hour here, or whenever I have lay time, you know? Like I did that with my reading. And I think that pays off with entrepreneurial. It's like, just be patient, put in the work, be willing to put in the work. And I hate to sound like corny Kim Kardashian, where she was like, you have to put in the work. Like, you have to put in the work. But it's not that, like, I'm not being, this is really coming from somebody that has had nothing. And I have seen my growth, and I have seen my following grow, and to understand that it does take hard work. Some people call their hard work, but it's not really what it is, you know, but people are actually having to put in hard work and dedication. Like, that is probably the number one skill, to balance hard work and dedication. Well, 3, because I think it requires so much of those, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think is a skill set that you obtained over the years that are beneficial to your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, the way that you framed multitasking and specifically setting time limits for specific tasks or specific kinds of work definitely sort of rung a bell for me, and I think is a perfect way to frame it. And I think that one thing about working for other people is that you get to kind of view things from an outside perspective almost, and to see, okay, hey, this thing that they're doing is not as effective as it could be. If I were a manager, then I wouldn't want to do this, you know, to the people who I managed. And on the other hand, having a really good manager, I think one of my previous managers, she was really on us about work-life balance, about taking a mental health day. And this was back in like 2016, 2017, before it was really a trendy thing or on everybody's mind, because we've been pushed so hard through this pandemic. And so that really changed my trajectory and my attitude. And so I really appreciate her for seeing us as people first. And I think that sort of attitude towards the people who you work with, I think is really critical and is really helpful to put things in perspective. You know, because we're doing this to survive, and we are, like you said, we are so much more than just this little facet of our lives.
And that's so very true. You know, and as I'm sitting here thinking about the overall theme of the podcast, you know, I was thinking about some of the things that I faced being a woman in the business realm, as well as being a plus size woman, you know, in the business realm, and some of the stuff that I find myself running into are them trying to fit me into a certain category due to the fact that I'm being perceived one way, you know, and it's like automatically, it's like, I don't want it to always be about the out. Like I have, like you said, I have skills. You know, I have a mindset. I have things that I know. And stepping into this male-dominated field, it's like, I'm not going to bow to any man, you know? Like, what is wrong with, like, and it comes across as that when you're dealing with certain situations in the business realm, because it's like, you got to bend somewhere to be able to elevate. You got to step on this person to go, or, you know, without doing it in a way that's harmful, because there's levels to this, you know? Progressing doesn't mean you stay the same. And when you're moving forward, you'll realize who's the stagnant energy around you. And it'll blow you out the way when you realize how many stagnant people are around you. They say that they want, like I said, again, hard work and dedication. They say they want success, or they say they want these things, but they're not willing to sacrifice any type of, again, hard work and dedication, or putting any type of oomph to it. And I think that's like, to have your own business, you have to have so much oomph, you know, for yourself. Like I was telling someone today, I said, if everybody was to walk away from me today, and I didn't have nothing else left, I've got the best thing ever. I've got me. And you are the business. And so it's like when you see it from that, when you start seeing your whole self as the business, it also makes it easy.
Yeah. And I think that is also, I think the necessity for that attitude is part of kind of circling back to what we were talking about as far as the challenges of running a business without sort of pre-existing capital, the means to
Uh,
hire help, or being in the specific industries that are going to get other people to want to invest in your business. Is that we are kind of, especially in the days of social media, and that being a really a primary way to get exposure and sort of get new people into your sales funnel, that as a small business owner or a solo entrepreneur, you are kind of forced to become your brand, and not even just publicly, but at home as well, with how how you're choosing to spend your time and your energy.
right, and it's also due to, like you're saying, it's actually called the social network.
Mm-hmm.
You there's certain things that you lack, so that the access to information or the access to funding, because it may not always just be funding, like you said, it could be information,
Mm-hmm.
access to other business owners, or being able to interact with other people on that level, and to be able to um, be receptive of that energy, and
Mm-hmm.
understand that it's all building a brand new network of people. You're building a whole new, basically a whole new social network. You're building a whole new social network, and each person is going to play a part in it, and you are the center of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to be the person that breaks the poverty barrier, and now everybody else after you, they're going to benefit from that intelligence.
One thing, speaking to the social network piece, one thing that has been really helpful for me in like the last maybe 6 months or so is taking the time to participate in more social networks. So I have been participating in a group of other Black small business owners, Black or BBIMP small business owners, and um, hearing their experiences, sharing resources, has
Mm-hmm.
been really helpful, as well as even gained me access to information. Like you said, I was able to do uh, an entrepreneurship class from that was run by a professor who was offering it for free to BBIMP business owners, and who normally teaches the class to college students. And so that was really helpful, and was only an opportunity I ran across because I was, taking the time to put myself out there and interact with other business owners. And I really do appreciate the fact that there are those of us who are willing to share information and sort of help each other in the ways that we can. And it's also nice to be one of those people and sort of help all of us do better.
Yeah, you're so right. And it's even like us talking today, it's like this is a whole new, like, I'm going to be exposed to your audience,
Hmm.
and you'll be exposed to my audience. It's a whole new network of people. The best thing that I think about entrepreneurship is, like, every day is a struggle. This is true. But your life can change instantaneously by working for yourself, because you never know who sees you working, or you never know what blessing or is about to come your way.
That's true. I definitely value the experience that entrepreneurship has given me. Um, right now, I'm kind of at a phase where I'm ready to put it down for a bit, so that I can take a break. But of course, I've been thinking about that, and it's like, well, I'm making moves so that I can take a break, and that break will come in 6 months down the road
Yeah, I
because of
totally get that.
my existing commitments. And um but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
And so I definitely value the experience. I've done something right. You know, I was able to support
Yes.
myself for 2 years. So, but it is definitely not for the faint of heart. And I think that if people feel inclined to try it, I don't think that, you know, the money in our world, it's all fake, right? It only exists and is real because we agree that it does. And so
Exactly.
I think that definitely if you think you have an idea, you have a way to get the startup funding that you need, that that entrepreneurship at the least can become a part of your life experience, and something you learn from, and that you can, you can apply to your life
Yeah,
later.
for sure. And I always remind myself that all these big companies started out as a small business. All of them. Every last one of them, they started out as something small and became something big. You don't just get big, or
Mhm.
you don't just have all of the success overnight. I mean, yes, it's possible. Again, as I said, it's not just that it's possible, but it's like these people were putting in the work. And like, again, when the light was shown on them, they had the ability to say, hey, look, I've been putting in all this work all this time. And I'm just now coming off of a hiatus of not doing my keychains, because during the pandemic, I was doing really well. Like, sales were really great.
Mhm.
I had a little extra change in my pocket. That was the best part, so on and so forth. But then I was like, oh my God, I'm over. Like I was telling you, multitasking, but I was like, something on my plate has to go, because it was too much mentally,
Mhm.
and I just recently um, have restarted advertising my keychains again, because now I'm going to have my sellers come in and actually put taxes on them, and actually get my more bang for my buck when it comes to buying certain things. So I've gotten smarter business wise in the last 6 months. So it's like, even though I was taking a break from the business and I wasn't necessarily making sales or enforcing me selling, I was still reading business books, or watching TikTok videos that pertain to business, Facebook hit reels that pertain to business. So it was like, it was still there even though I was on a break. So it was
Mhm.
constantly, my mind was constantly being developed when it came to the entrepreneurial mindset and skills that were needed.
That's really affirming to hear myself as I'm thinking about the nature of the break I'm headed into. Um, the break that I'm headed into from my business, that you were able to sort of still feel like you have made progress, even though you technically had put it on pause for a little bit of time.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything in life, sometimes it requires you to retreat, reset, and then go back to what you were doing,
Hmm.
reorganize your thoughts, reorganize how you advertise, or reorganize how you monetize, all of that. Because then at the end, you're setting up how you want it to work for you.
Hmm.
That's just like right now. Obviously, I don't want my children to be all in the background, but it is what it is. So I know that I am working towards having the setup to where they're either being preoccupied by like either work or daycare, something, so that I'm able to
Hmm.
do the certain skills that are needed to be able to keep progressing our family. They don't see it as mommy's doing that. They just see it as, oh, we have to be quiet for this little bit of time, and it's annoying. Again, the dedication aspect of it. It's like, you gotta respect the vision. If the vision is there and it's written out, you want to be willing to receive that.
Hmm. Is your are your keychains the only, well, I guess the keychains and your podcasts, are these the only sort of things you're
So
pursuing at the moment?
so I have my podcast. I also have some music too on SoundCloud. I just dropped a song on SoundCloud.
Oh wow.
So I have that going as well. Um, I have my keychains, Monique's Resin Designs, and then I have my podcast. And then I'm very active on all my social medias on astrology, dealing with astrology and spiritual stuff. So it's always fun to interact with other beings when it comes to that. So like, I have an overall entity, excuse me. It's called
Okay.
Big Her Entities. So
Hmm.
basically, anything that I run going to be under that. So no matter what it is, and my hopes is that it just continuously grows, and I'll be able to be in a position to where I can help other girls who look like me in the business realm. I want to be the businesswoman that's able to give back. and go and find the young woman in business who's struggling and she does need the financial resources or she does need an angel investor, and be that person, because it's a possibility for that to happen. You just have to be willing to step into what it is that you're seeing for yourself and what you're for your future and how you want to do things. Because it can vary, like I said, like I was watching the podcast numbers and I was just like, it went from literally from 2 to 11 overnight. I don't know where they came from, but hey, let's go. Let's keep going. It's just a matter of pushing. It's a matter of pushing. And I'm not, like I was telling my my lovely today, I was like, I'm not expecting super growth overnight because I know it's going to take time to gain and ascertain the certain things that I'm trying to get to. And I think that's another thing too. It's patience. There's a lot of patience in entrepreneurship.
I don't know what it is about these last few years. I mean, my Saturn return will be over in 6 more months.
Oh no!
But
just take advantage of all the growth time.
Yeah, but I have just become such a more patient person, and also either understanding when like something that you want will either be there when you're ready or able to access it, or it won't, and just letting go of how many things aren't in our control, and really not dedicating mental space to those things. So definitely I think all of life requires so much patience, and outside of matters of life or death, like literally nothing that we're dealing with on a day-to-day is truly urgent.
Truly. Yeah, that is so true.
So,
even when it comes to the ones that are working the 9 to 5, it's never that serious, like it's never that urgent.
Especially 9 to 5 is not that serious because let me tell you,
man. I had a coworker and she stopped working, and the reason why she stopped working, she explained it to me so well. She said, if I was to die tomorrow, they would replace me so quickly, for one. Two, not only would they replace me, who's going to be here for my family? Who's going to be here to show my kids certain things? And that's another thing that I'm so appreciative entrepreneurship has allowed me, is the ability to be the type of mom that I want to be. As far as being here and having access to my kids and them having access to me, I don't have to be at work and they don't have to call me. They're right here with me, So it's like they know exactly what's going on. They know where mom's at. I know where they are. They're safe. I'm good. We're good. So that's another thing. It's like, that's part of the stability. We can bring in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you may, like it's a security issue. It's like, I know they're secure, so that I know if they're secure, that I can move a bit more securely in other things, and that's another thing that it plays into the patience. You can bring it full circle, like we were talking about, acceptance of where you are. I like how that all together,
and balance, and intentionally creating balance.
Yeah, intentionally creating balance, intentionally setting time, and treat it like a real business. For all you business people out there, I'm gonna interrupt this thought real quick. Acceptance of self. That's what we're gonna talk about. But just because somebody messages you at 1:30 in the morning does not mean that you have to respond to them. Set your business hours. Make people follow your business hours. Set your boundaries. Because if not, they're going to take advantage of you, and they're going to be calling you every which day, night. What you could be sleeping with your boo thing, and they're going to be trying to hit you. Like, no. Business hours are Monday through Friday between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. If you have any questions, please leave a message. Like legit. But yeah, back to let's rewind. What I was saying was how the whole thought process of bringing it back to acceptance of self, accepting where you are in your journey as far as entrepreneurship, pushing through those overall circumstances, pushing through the break time or pushing through the pause time, pushing through the great times. It's like the ebbs and flows, everything is constant, but nothing is the same.
Right.
I think that's the best way to put it. Everything is constant, but nothing is the same. It's always Definitely. Going. It's always nonstop, but it's never the same.
Definitely.
Definitely. That was I even made myself kind of speechless today. You be dropping bombs of knowledge on your own self, you know?
Right,
And it's
truly.
like, dang, girl, like, where'd that come from? Water runs deep, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know? But my whole thing is I want to be able to help other young ladies. That's my whole thing. Help other women that look like you and myself that have been in our positions, all of that. You know, like there's got to be somebody that's willing to be the voice. And I really hope that this space does take off and all the haters can go somewhere because they're really fans and the nose, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That this really does become a space for people like you and myself to talk, you know, where you can have an honest, open conversation about the things that affect you or whatever it is that we're talking about. I plan on talking about Karma Sutra too, girl. I mean, all of that. I mean, I'm trying to take it all the way to here, to there, just because we need this space, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. And I do think that our experience is valid, and that I definitely think that you have so much you can add from all the all the I feel like we keep repeating this phrase, but all the facets of your life, because you're a mother, you have experience outside of being a mother, you're an entrepreneur, you're actively raising children at all different age levels and need levels, as far as what they need to learn about being humans and about being part of our world. And so that is really, you're an inspiration to me, honestly.
Thank you.
And I really just love listening to your perspective and what you have to say, and I really appreciate your intention to create a space for people like us, people who you know and the way that we connected through the Twitter community, it's really honestly
Yeah.
crazy, some of the things that people share and how some people really don't even see us as human. And so I hope
Yeah.
that the people listening to this feel seen. We see you. we
Right.
we have some experiences in common, and we wish the best for the people who are listening, because it's hard out here. It's hard out
It
here for a
is.
pimp.
It is. And then, honestly, it's like that's the number one thing. And I'm kind of posting this in the community as well. Is ladies, the acceptance of yourself. Like, I don't care what size you are, ladies. Like, that should be null and void. Like, that is just a number. You want to accept yourself for who you are and what you are in that moment in time, in that element of who you are. You a good person, well, then gosh, sure, and everything else is irrelevant. That's why I always. I actually didn't open it up today this way, but I'll close it out the way I close out will be the way that I usually open. I always tell people, do your self-affirmation. Stop in the mirror, look at yourself. Like, God dang it, I'm gorgeous. Tell
Yes.
yourself that you're beautiful. Tell yourself that God didn't make any mistakes on the canvas of you. And so when you accept that, and it's like, oh shit, I am the bomb. Like I said, everybody can walk away from me. I am the gift.
Right.
I am the gift. Like you should be honored to be in my presence. And I'm not saying that in a conceited way, but it's like that's how I've started migrating through life. And that's just given me the encouraging spirit in my entrepreneurial journey. It's like, well, gosh darn it, I deserve this. You can't not allow yourself to feel as though you don't deserve, because you do.
Yes.
Was there any final thoughts or anything that you want to drop today, Brooke, before I go ahead and close it out?
No, I think that you have wrapped it right on up with that affirmation. And I'm gonna, once we hang up, I'm gonna go look in the mirror, tell myself I'm gorgeous today. Because I am, and
Period.
I hadn't said it yet.
Period, queen. Period. You're gorgeous. Exactly. Well, this is Brooke from Fully Spun. Make sure you guys go check her out. I'm going to post the link with my business and her business with the link of this broadcast, so you guys can all check out both businesses and see what's really getting down here at the BBW podcast. If nobody's told you today that you're not awesome, you're awesome. And if nobody's told you they don't love you, I love you. You're more than enough. It's your girl, Layna Lay, a.k.a. Queen Lay. You guys have a blessed evening. Peace. So that was the episode with Brooke from Fully Spun. I'm going to drop her link for her business in the posting with this podcast. And you'll also see my keychain link as well. But I want you guys to know that you too yourself can go on this entrepreneurial journey. And I wish you the best of luck if you do. Take some notes. Understand that it's going to be okay. Be intentional with your self-care. Be intentional about what you want to do with your business and how you want to do things. Until next time, this is your girl, Lena Lay, a.k.a. Lena Anel, a.k.a. Queen Lay. And this is the BBW podcast. Peace and blessings to you all.